just have to do with biology. It doesn't have to do with our cultural situation that we're in right now. And number 2, which is, this is a theory brought on by Dr. Gabriel Cousins. I haven't heard anyone else talk about it, but it's the theory that there's the iron in our blood rusts over time. This can be from a variety of reasons, but it's not getting renewed basically, and it literally is damaging to the body. Iron is a pro-oxidant, and if its levels are too high, it's going to start to literally damage your internal organs and skin and everything your blood comes in contact with if the blood's doing this. Now, the reason this doesn't happen as much with women is because they have an exchange of blood every month with their menstrual cycle. So because there's that exchanging of blood, old blood actually has an opportunity to leave the body. Of course, it's detrimental if women don't get their iron levels bolstered in their diet, but the men, if they're not getting a recycling of their blood in that way, it gets stagnant, and this could be one other potential cause for the difference between lifespan between men and women. But it doesn't negate the idea that this has changed over time, because as I said, in the 1920s, the age difference was quite closer together. But I just wanted to address that because it's another theory out there that does have a lot of validity to it, and it's interesting to think about. Now, the third issue, which is one I've talked about before, is ejaculation. Men, when they are engaged in the sexual act and they ejaculate, they're losing a lot of vital essence that in traditional Chinese medicine is known as Jing. And this vital force is packed full of nutrition and other elements that are vital and hard to get back into the body. So everything from zinc to the prostaglandins that are made up of essential fatty acids and rare, like GLA, which is a very rare fatty acid, EPA, which is omega-3 fatty acid that's very rare. These are in prostaglandins, which are in very high density in male seminal emissions. And then a whole host of other nutrients, enzymes, proteins are lost through it. So during the sexual act, men continually lose this, and this could be another potential cause of the gap between the average lifespans of men and women. Now, I personally feel that the strongest argument here is the one of the roles men have taken in this society, in cultures all around the world. This idea of laying down your life for the women and children. And this is resulting in men dying at younger ages than women in a variety of different ways. Of course, like I mentioned, suicide rates, stress causing acceleration of diseases, and carrying that belief system that a lot of us males tend to carry is what sets up situations in life for those things to happen. You know, you're in a tough situation financially, you might work 60-hour weeks for a couple of years. That's going to be very detrimental to your health if you're trying to support your family that way. So what's the solution? Well, what's the solution? Well, some of the things I definitely would recommend is not eating foods that are high in heme iron, and heme iron is blood iron, iron that's in the blood of an animal that has been killed. If you're consuming that, your body automatically absorbs it, whether you need the iron or not. So this has led people to say, well, iron from animal products is more beneficial for your health because it's very easily absorbable, and that's true. But non-heme iron, which is the iron found in green leafy plants and other things, your body actually can tell whether it needs it or not because it's in a form that it recognizes, and it'll absorb it only if it needs it. Therefore, if you're deficient in the iron, your body's going to be absorbing it. If you're not, if you have excess iron, your body's not going to be absorbing it. So animal products that are flesh-based and high in iron are going to be contributing to this excess iron in the body, which over time is a pro-oxidant. It's the opposite of an antioxidant, and we need to eliminate these. And the second thing is the seminal emissions that deplete nutrients when done to an excess. That key nutrient is zinc. That low zinc levels leads to plummeting testosterone levels, other growth hormone levels plummet, and then also the raising of risk for prostate cancer and other cancers that proliferate in a low testosterone, high estrogen environment in the body. So there are ancient Chinese practices that can help with the curbing of this excessive ejaculation. It's something I'm going to speak about in the future for sure, so stay tuned, subscribe to my website. You can find the link below and sign up for my newsletter. I send out updates on that. And finally, again, the whole idea with the workload and higher stress levels in men's lives. I'm not complaining for all men, but I do think men need to get in touch with and speak up about their feelings. And this is the reason why they accept things. And, you know, men feel these things, but then they drug themselves to not feel. So drugs, alcohol, watching excessive TV, and all these other sort of narcotic type influences for men actually cause them to disassociate from their life's purpose, from their own hopes and desires in life, and they're making the sacrifice that is not needed. So my message is definitely mostly for men. We need to speak up about this and live a life of purpose so that we have a life to live in the long run and aren't dying 5 years after retirement, which is, you know, if you retire at 65 and you die at 72, 7 years of retirement, where women who retire at 60 and live to 80 something, it's a good 20 years after retirement that they get to experience. So just take these things into consideration, and again, check out that interview with Dr. Warren Farrell and you'll get some good perspective on the real issues that are going on in the world, not the propaganda that's often talked about without much evidence to back it up, that's coming from a place of victimhood. Now, the men's rights movement isn't coming from a place of victimhood. They're wanting to correct this so-called pendulum that has swung a little too far to one side in many cases. And this is no one's fault. This is just enthusiasm that has occurred with certain movements that have attacked men for being men, basically. And of course that does include negative things, but both genders have their negative qualities and their positive qualities. We want to accentuate the positive qualities, and we want both genders to work on and eliminate their negative qualities so we can all live in harmony better. We no longer need a gender war, and we should both be living the same average lifespans in the long run. Thank you.